Hello, Amanda here, and today I'm going to talk all about horizontal and vertical lines. The first thing I'm going to do is define what I mean by horizontal and what I mean by vertical. And so to do that, I'm going to show that through a sketch. So I'm going to left click on sketch up here. And out of habit, I tend to draw on the top plane. So I'm going to left click on this plane. And now I'm sketching on the top plane. So I'm going to get into my line command. So this is the line. It kind of looks like a candy cane here. And when I left click, notice that beside my cursor, that same symbol appears. So I'm going to first draw a horizontal line. So I'm going to left click and let go. And then I'm going to move my mouse to the right, left click and let go. Notice how it wants to continue on. There's two ways to get out of the line command to start a new line. You could either right click and then I'm going to left click on delete and that'll go away. The other way, again, if I left click and get in my line command, this time I'm going to draw a vertical line. So I'm going to left click and then go straight down, left click again. And again, it wants to stay in that function. I usually like to hit the escape key if I'm using Windows. I'm not sure if it works on a Mac or not. You might let me know if it does. So this one's horizontal and this one's vertical, meaning this one is straight up and down and this is straight side to side. Fusion will actually tell you whether they're horizontal or vertical by these symbols. So this little gray symbol here underneath that's going side to side indicates that this one is indeed horizontal. And again, the same symbol appears by the vertical line, indicating that this one is vertical. And the way that I've always remembered horizontal and vertical lines, and this is just from being a kid, is thinking about the horizontal line looking like the horizon, like when the sun goes up. And so I always think horizontal and horizon. So if you have a difficult time remembering which one is horizontal and which one's vertical, it's kind of my little trick. It's always worked. I think I learned that whenever I was pretty young, like maybe around 6 or 7. And so that's how I remember vertical and horizontal lines. You cannot assume that lines are vertical or horizontal. So for instance, I'm going to go ahead and left click somewhere in my line command, and I'm going to draw a few lines. Again, I press my escape key to get out of that function. And say this one, I'm going to draw it pretty close to looking like it's vertical, but it's not. And so if you're trying to draw things like rectangles or straight lines, you cannot ever assume that something is straight. You have to make sure that that symbol is there in order to confirm that it is indeed horizontal or vertical. So to force lines to be horizontal, vertical, or horizontal. Now I'm using the word, just sounds weird to me now. Anyways, you can use this. It's horizontal. Sorry, I don't know why I got that in my head. Okay, so if I left click on this constraints up here, it shows me that I have the option of selecting this horizontal or vertical constraint. So this is the first time I've introduced constraints, and constraints are basically rules. So I'm trying to set a rule to these lines. So I'm going to left click and on the horizontal and vertical constraint, notice that by my cursor it has this weird kind of upside down T, and that same one is blued out up here at the top. If I left click on my line, it'll force it to be horizontal. And then if I left click on my vertical line, my vertical-ish line, it'll force that to be vertical. And now we can assume that those are indeed vertical and horizontal. So the next thing I'm going to do is apply the use of horizontal and vertical lines, and I'm going to make a simple phone case. This phone case may or may not be usable. It will need a few extra things, but it gives an overall basic shape. And I'm also going to introduce something called fillets. Fillets are perhaps the most underrated component that you can add to a design that'll give it so much strength. If you decide to 3D print it or cut the part using a CNC, it really just gives that nice professional touch. And so in order to get started, I'm going to go ahead and press escape to get out of my constraints function. I'm going to left click on the vertical line and then right click, and I'm going to left click on delete. Again, in order to delete the other one, another way you can delete this is I can left click and then on my keyboard, I'm going to press delete. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is change my units. I'm very used to working in inches, although I do work quite a bit in metric. My mind, it tends to work quicker in inches just because that's what I use in everyday society. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to document settings. I'm going to left click on the triangle next to the gear to expand my options. And then I'm going to go over to this paper and pad, left click on that, and then this units box opens up. I'm going to left click on the drop down box and then left click on inch and select OK. The next thing I'm going to do is start drawing a simple phone box. So I'm essentially going to draw a rectangle within a rectangle, and then I'm going to add fillets to all of my edges. So I'm going to get in my line command, and at this point it really doesn't matter what your drawing looks like. So when you originally start to sketch things in Fusion, you kind of do so in a messy manner. That is, you don't want to do it too messy. You want your sketch to look as close to your finished product, but it doesn't have to be perfect. If you try to strive for perfection at this point, it'll just take you more time to draw. And so I just always like to, draw what best represents that. So again, I'm just drawing, I accidentally got in my rectangle command. I am going to just draw two rectangles. Okay. I'm going to assume that the phone that I'm thinking about using is maybe around 6 inches by 2.5 inches. So if I'm thinking about a phone and a phone case for that, so I can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and dimension. I'm left clicking and dragging these out a little bit. So I know if by looking at these that all of my lines are not vertical and horizontal yet. So I'm going to go ahead. That's the first thing you always want to do if you are indeed working with straight lines, because if you try to dimension these, it'll try to dimension them based on the angles that they're tilted at, and it'll mess with your dimensions. They won't be the dimensions that you intended. And so I'm going to go ahead and left click on my vertical and horizontal constraint up here at the top. And notice how it already selected a few of the lines. I'm going to left click on this one. I'm going to left click on the top. I'm just going to continue going around left clicking until all of my lines are straight. And I'm going to make sure this is okay. So Fusion sometimes adds constraints by itself. And so if you notice these two lines, so I have one pair here and one pair here of these two lines. So these lines indicate that this line and this line are parallel. And so what that means mathematically is if I were to extend these lines in either direction for all eternity, they would never touch each other. They would never cross. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to dimension the center piece. So this is where my phone would be seated. So I press the D key to get into my dimensions command. And I'm going to left click on this part of my phone case. I'm going to go ahead and left click again, press the 6 on my keyboard and enter. And so that sets it at 6 inches. And then this one, I'm going to left click, go up, and this one's going to be, let's say, about 2.75. That's probably closer to what a phone might actually look like. If you are designing one for your phone, you could measure your phone using a ruler and be able to create a custom phone holder for your phone. Okay, so I'm thinking that the outer edge here of my phone case needs to probably be about a 1/4 inch. So that's 0.25 inches. Um, in order to do that, I'm just going to add dimensions all around. So I'm going to left click on my inner phone case and left click on this one. And then I'm just going to type in 0.25 and then enter. And then I'm going to left click on the top, left click at the outer edge of this, left click again. Again, that's 0.25, left click, left click. And your phone case could be, any dimension, any depth that you want. Left click, and then again, I'm going to do 0.25. So this is the outer piece of my phone case. The last thing I want to do is to add fillets. So fillets add so much strength to corners. Most phone cases are rounded, and it really protects your phone. Fillets are just so strong. They're really, like I said, they're really underrated. Fillets are actually an arc. They're part of a circle, but they're just connected to other pieces. So in order to get into my fillets command, I'm going to go up here at the top sketch toolbar, and I'm going to left click on modify, and then I'm going to go down to where I see fillets, and I'm going to go ahead and left click. I want all my fillets to be the same radius, and so we talked about radius and diameter in a previous video. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out so that you can understand what the radius is. So again, the radius measures the distance from the center of the circle to any part of the outer portion of the circle. So it measures halfway distance across. Anytime you create a fillet, you dimension it by using the radius. You do not dimension it using the diameter. That's the automatic setting that Fusion dimensions fillets in. So I'm going to go ahead and go around and just select all of my corners. So I'm going to left click at this corner, left click at this corner, and I'm just going to keep going until I select all 8 of the corners. So that's the inner portion and the outer portion. Notice that this numbers text box shows up here and this will allow me to fillet or add a fillet to all of my rectangles simultaneously. And I'm thinking that I want a smallish fillet, so maybe about 0.2. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and press enter. And so now I have this nicely filleted phone case. So the next thing I'm going to do is extrude my phone case. So in order to extrude, so extrude means we are taking a sketch and then making it 3-dimensional. So in order to do that, I need to exit my sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and go to finish sketch. And we have these nice blue profiles. We really should add a few more dimensions until this turns black. We could fix it. The reason why this shape is not black, meaning it is not fully defined, is because I can actually move. I can move this shape. So to fully define it, which you should always get in the habit of doing, I'm not necessarily going to do it here, but if you don't fully define your sketch, you could accidentally distort it later. So you could add a few dimensions from the origin and fix it in space and it wouldn't move. Or you can do something rather simple, and that is to left click on your screen, select your whole portion using the box, right click, and then you can go down to something that's called fix. And what that does is that fixes your piece, and so you cannot move your part anymore. So I went ahead and exited my sketch. The next thing I'm going to do is get an isometric view. I always like to get an isometric view. That's this little house right here, so that I can see how far things are being extruded. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create the back to this phone case, so that my phone doesn't fall through, so that it's not just like a picture frame. And so I'm going to left click on extrude, and I'm going to extrude downwards. So I'm going to go ahead and select the entire piece because I want the entire piece to be solid. And notice how my arrow is going up, and you can drag that arrow up. What I want to do is I want to extrude downwards a little bit, and I'm going to go, let's say, negative zero point 0.1 looks pretty good. If you want it a little thicker, you can make it 0.15 or zero point 0.2. This is really up to you. And then I'm going to go ahead and left click and press OK. Notice how my sketch disappears, and that's really common. Fusion does a great job at trying to keep your workspace nice and clean, nice and understandable, so that you won't get confused necessarily with all the moving bits. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my sketch. I'm going to left click here at this arrow next to sketches, and there's this little eye that has a line through it indicating that that's been turned off. So I'm going to go ahead and left click on this eye, and there's my sketch again that appears on the body that I created. So now I want to extrude just this portion upwards. So I'm going to go ahead and left click on it and then get into my extrude command. And I don't know how thick phones are, maybe about 0.4 inches thick. I've never measured a phone. And I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And notice how I have a nice phone case that's been created. I'm not going to go into detail about creating a lip or anything. This is just something that the phone can set in. Different mechanisms are used in order to hold the phones in, and that might be explained in another portion of these videos, but I don't want to go into too much detail just yet in this video. But this gives you a nice seated area for your phone to set in. So now you understand what horizontal and vertical lines are. You understand how to use a fillet and how to dimension it by using the radius. And then you know how to extrude multiple extrusions. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please reach out to me and let me know what else you would like to see. I plan on continuing to add videos throughout the summer. I'm a teacher, and so I'm pretty busy, and I try to add these as much as possible. I love making CAD accessible to as many people that really want to learn. And I try to teach in a way that doesn't feel like it's too overwhelming. So let me know if you have any ideas or things that you would like to see me draw. Again, these are very beginner ready videos for you. And as time progresses, I will get into more advanced things so that you can get into more and more CAD work and just really grow with it. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.